Hey, welcome to the second course for the song Neon Gravestones by 21 Pilots in their 2018 album, Trench. I'm musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. This is where we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's hop over and see what's going on in this song. Neon Gravestones attacks society's practice of glorifying those who have committed self-harm and romanticizing the idea of taking their own life. In the context of Trench's story, Tyler revealed in a 2020 hangout with the Discord clique that the main goal of the bishop's religion, vialism, reflects this glorification. There's a reason why the outside of Dima is all graves, because it's presented to people in Dima that this is a good thing. Like, this is what your goal is, to try to impact and affect as many people as you can, and then ultimately, this is your final act. Wow. 21 Pilots have never shied away from talking about self-harm with their lyrics, including songs like Truce, where Tyler Joseph sings, stay alive for me. You will die, but now your life is free. Take pride in what is sure to die." In one of their most popular hits, Car Radio, where Tyler talks about his own depression and will to live, "I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought, because somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence." Still one of my favorites. Tyler also plays on the idea of neon lights, where celebrities dream of having their name in lights as a sign of success, a theme that has been discussed by plenty of different artists, including Ed Sheeran, Lil Wayne, Lecrae. The neon lights draw people in and will seem appealing to people who are on the streets. This is commonly used in Las Vegas to bring people off the streets into a casino or a bar, as it draws attention to the location. However, once that status has been achieved and the celebrity has committed self-harm, their name lives on in the neon gravestone that may seem appealing to others who are facing a rough time. In another interview, Tyler stated, "There was a minute when I showed Josh the song and said to him, 'Well, what do you think?' It's not a song where you listen to it once and say, 'Okay, this is where I land.' It's something you have to kind of live with for a little bit, talk about, and bounce off other people. Give it oxygen and let it breathe. So while it's sitting there in Josh's brain, I'm waiting to hear from him. Ultimately, if he says, 'This is not coming off correctly,' or 'I think we should be worried about this not being perceived right,' I would know that's it. For him to live with it and come back and say, 'I get behind this,' is what I needed to hear." That's really cool insight into their relationship. The idea of self-harm, depression, I'd like to believe that there are multiple ways to approach it and talk about it. This angle that Neon Gravestones is talking about is one that I haven't heard much of and wanted, because I know that's what I'd respond to as a challenge. I think at some point, we hear you and we are here for you and we understand you. There's a point where that doesn't help. And what's the opposite of that? That's a challenge to step up and defeat something, to win. When Atlantic Records heard that song, there was a lot of red flags. They all listened to it and were extremely concerned about how it was going to come off. They described it as this giant landmine in the middle of the record. When Neon Gravestones came around, it was another reason for them, the label, to show that I don't think this is the right direction for this record. You could lose your career if this song isn't taken the right way. Man, it's crazy that they have to navigate those kind of conversations. This is what Josh Dunn said. I mean, there's a lot of information on this song, obviously because it was controversial, at least to the record label. I think we've always kind of seen eye to eye on a lot of different subjects, from political things to spiritual things, which is why I think we started getting along right away. Like Tyler says, there can be sensitivity within those kinds of things, so I want to find a balance between something that's just not too sensitive but not too extreme. The song is something that I sat with for a bit, but I think that it's kind of bold, and I like that. Oh, I knew it, dude. I was going to say this piano piece because it starts out, "Ba-dun-dun," and then it changes. But I was going to say I didn't want to stop in the very beginning of the song. "Ba-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun." I'm assuming that's what it is. All right. Let's get up here and work through these lyrics a bit. So yeah, it starts with this idea of calling. What's my problem? Well, I want you to follow me down to the bottom, underneath the insane asylum. Keeps your wits about you while you got them, because your wits are first to go while you're problem solving. Wow, dude. Because your wits are first to go while you're problem solving. And it's so true, right? The things that seem so obvious, so rational, that sometimes when you're in the midst of a problem, whatever that problem might be, the kind of irrational side of you can take over. You can spiral very quickly. And so that realization, like, keep your wits about you, be awake, pay attention, because your wits or your whereabouts, your better judgment are first to go in the midst of problems. And my problem, we glorify. And so now he's stating like why he's creating this song. Here's the problem he's got. And it's too, it's not in my issue. He's like, no, what do I have a problem with? This message. We glorify those even more when that's interesting that he just kind of leaves that to hang there. I noticed that in the song. My opinion, our culture can treat a loss like it's a win. And right before we turn on them, we give them the highest of praise and hang their banner from the ceiling, communicating, further engraving, an earlier grave is an optional way. And I love how he tags this on like a period, punctuation mark. No. And that's interesting. We give them the highest of praise and hang their banner from the ceiling, but that's right before we turn on them. So we make the most of all of these people. We pump them up, we back them up, we're for them, but then we turn on them like it's nothing, which to them communicates further engraving an earlier grave is an optional way. Like, hey, you're not wanted here anymore. You're not needed here anymore. We're done with you. Neon gravestones try to call. What's my problem? Don't get it twisted. It's with the people. So it's like within the song, he's trying to clarify, because obviously that was part of their hesitation or concern. And again, for Tyler to take it to Josh first, and talk about those things, because I think he understands this could be taken wrong. And so he's trying to help us see like, hey, don't get my message twisted. It's with the people we praise who may have assisted. I could use the streams and extra conversations. That one I wasn't 100% sure about. I'll click on it in a second. I could give up and boost up my reputation. So this, yeah, okay. So this idea, right, is kind of the core of the song. You can boost your reputation. You can be in the news. You can people be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we lost them, even though they may have been the same people who kind of turned your back. I could go out with a bang. They'd know my name. They would host and post a celebration. I could use the streams. So I guess probably just meaning like streams is in a way of, let's assume you're the ocean, right? Or a lake. All these streams and rivers flow into you. So by boosting your reputation, all these different people that didn't really know you, didn't really think about you, or you fell off their radar, they'd never heard of you before, now all of a sudden, like, pay attention to you. Let's see if there's anything in here. Increase social media coverage, boost his streams on music service. Okay, so that's probably more so what he's talking about specifically. Streaming his music. Okay. What I said was fun too. Excuse me. My opinion will not be lenient. My opinion, it's real convenient. So obviously he's saying this way out. And he's not being lenient about it. He's being very forward with it. But this way out can be very convenient. Our words are loud, but now I'm talking action. We don't get enough love, well, they get a fraction. They say, how could he go if he's got everything? I'll mourn for a kid, but won't cry for a king. I'm curious who specifically, this idea of like, who's saying we don't get enough love, who's saying, who is the one getting a fraction. Tyler argues if celebrities and other beloved public figures do not get enough support or attention in their suffering, others who do not have the luxury of a public platform to discuss their suffering must receive even less support and attention. Tyler could also be referring to people without mental illness who sometimes feel that they don't get enough love. He draws a contrast, perhaps suggesting that people living with mental illness receive even less. I wonder too, though, to kind of push back against this genius, this first paragraph is almost flipping the script in the idea that maybe the more popular you become, honestly, the less love you truly get, because people are out to take advantage of you, make money off of you, leverage what you have for themselves. And you become such in the public eye that you have less privacy, less people who are close to you. Which does, it brings up that interesting conversation, because it is the idea, what am I going to cry for the king? And it is, it just poses an interesting thought. But I feel like probably more of what he's saying here is that those who are in those places, they can be very, very lonely places. So I don't know. That's just a thought I had. Promise me this. If I lose to myself, you won't mourn a day, and you'll move on to someone else. So yeah, he's really kind of putting words, right? Or actions to his words. That like if he lost his own battle, because obviously he is a person that has fame and is the kind of person that's being talked about within the song. And he's just like, if I were to lose to myself, don't keep pushing this idea of glorifying, this thing of tortured artist that ends his life type thing. That's interesting. And then I love, it kind of flips here, right? They try to call for my bones because they won't get them. No, they won't get them. Don't get me wrong. The rise in awareness is beating a stigma that no longer scares us, so the ability to discuss these things. But for sake of discussion, in spirit of fairness, could we give this some room for a new point of view? Which is the point of the song. And could it be true that some could be tempted to use this mistake as a form of aggression, a form of succession, a form of a weapon, thinking I'll teach them? Well, I'm refusing the lesson. It won't resonate in our minds. Yeah, because it is, right? I mean, I feel like what he's kind of saying here is that people who are thinking of taking their own life may use that as like, I'm sending a message. They'll care now. How dare they hurt me? And it's just like, dude, it's not worth it. Like your life, it means so much more to have you here. So it won't resonate in our minds. I'm not disrespecting what was left behind, just pleading that it does not get glorified. So yeah, he's trying to say like, I'm not trying to make light of the people that have gone through this or say anything really negative against them. I just want to make sure we're not turning this into something that we glorify. Maybe we swap out what it is that we hold so high. So here's it. Here's the swap. Find your grandparents, someone of age, so someone that's lived, that stayed alive. Pay some respects for the path that they paved, to life they were dedicated. Now that should be celebrated. Wow, dude. Oh, man. First things first, I feel very proud of myself. We've been working through some things on this record, this album. And I don't expect to get everything right in one go. And I don't know that there even is necessarily get it right. But I think in kind of looking back over the album, once you have some other pieces in place and things like that, some other things will become more clear. But as far as a message in a song, he did an excellent job here. It's beautiful. It's haunting. It's pointed. It's poignant. All the other words you could use. Man, I love this one. Well, hey, let me know your thoughts on the song in the comments. And thank you for being a part of this one. I hope to see you in the next one because we're eating good.